Kazakhstan, the land of endless horizons. They call it the heart of Central Asia, a land so vast you could drive for hours without seeing another soul. A country where the earth stretches out like an endless carpet, changing colors with every sunrise and sunset. This is Kazakhstan. Here, history is written not just in books, but in the mountains, in the deserts, in the rivers that have been flowing for thousands of years. The wind carries whispers of ancient nomads, Silk Road traders, and warriors who once rode across these lands. Kazakhstan is more than just a place on the map. It's a feeling of freedom under skies so wide, they make you feel small and yet somehow infinite. Today, we begin a journey across this incredible country, from the bustling charm of Almaty, through mountains and canyons, across singing deserts and glassy lakes, all the way to the Caspian Sea. This is not just a trip, it's an adventure of the soul. Almaty, the beating heart of Kazakhstan. As our journey begins, we find ourselves in Almaty, a city where the pulse of modern Kazakhstan beats strongest, yet the echoes of its past still hum softly beneath the surface. Nestled against the towering foothills of the Altyn-Emel Mountains, Almaty is a city that feels alive in every season, each with its own personality. In spring, the air is fragrant with apple blossoms, fitting for a place believed to be the birthplace of the apple itself. In summer, the city basks in golden sunshine, with cafe terraces buzzing with life. Autumn wraps Almaty in shades of amber and rust, while winter dusts the skyline with pure white snow, as if the mountains have lent the city their icy crowns. Once the capital of Kazakhstan, Almaty still holds the elegance of a cultural and intellectual hub. Wide, tree-lined avenues stretch toward the horizon, framed by Soviet-era architecture, modern skyscrapers, and cozy tea houses where locals gather to share conversation over steaming cups of chai. It is a city of parks and fountains, where green spaces breathe between the buildings, and where every turn reveals a blend of tradition and progress. The rhythm of Almaty is as diverse as its people. You might hear the hum of traffic along Dostik Avenue, then turn a corner and find yourself in the peaceful calm of Panfilov Park, where the colorful Zenkov Cathedral rises, a masterpiece built entirely of wood, without a single nail. The melodies of street musicians float through the air, mingling with the aromas of fresh samsa from corner bakeries. But perhaps what makes Almaty most captivating is how seamlessly it blends urban life with nature. Just a short drive from the city center, the mountains beckon. In winter, skiers carve down the slopes of Shimbulak. In summer, hikers wander into the cool pine forests and alpine meadows, where the city noise fades into the murmur of streams. The mountains aren't just a backdrop here. They are a constant companion, visible from nearly every street, reminding residents and visitors alike that nature is never far away. Almaty is not simply a place to pass through on the way to Kazakhstan's wonders. It is itself a wonder. It is a city that invites you to linger, to taste its rich cuisine, to stroll through its bustling bazaars, and to listen to the stories of its people. It is the gateway to adventure, the crossroads where past and present meet, and the perfect place to begin our journey into the heart of Kazakhstan. Mountains of Kazakhstan. The crown of the steppe. If the steppe is the soul of Kazakhstan, then its mountains are surely its crown. Rising dramatically from the flatlands, they stand like ancient guardians, their snow-dusted peaks reaching for the clouds. The most famous of these ranges, the Tien Shan, the Mountains of Heaven, stretch across the southeastern edge of the country, their jagged ridges glowing pink and gold in the morning light. For centuries, these mountains have been a source of life, mystery, and inspiration for the people who live in their shadow. Here, nature has carved its masterpiece. Towering cliffs plunge into deep valleys, where rivers rush in silver threads and alpine meadows burst with wildflowers in summer. The air is crisp, scented with pine and juniper, carrying the distant call of an eagle circling overhead. In winter, the mountains wear a thick coat of snow, turning them into a playground for skiers and mountaineers, while in spring, the melting ice feeds crystal-clear lakes and cascades of waterfalls. The mountains of Kazakhstan are not just a feast for the eyes. They are home to a rich variety of wildlife. Rare snow leopards prowl these high places, elusive and graceful, while ibex climb steep slopes with impossible ease. Golden eagles soar on the thermals, their sharp eyes scanning the land far below. To walk here is to step into a world that feels untouched, a place where nature rules with quiet authority. For the nomads of old, the mountains were more than just a landscape. They were a guide, a shelter, and a spiritual presence. Legends say that the peaks speak to those who listen, their whispers carried by the wind. Even today, many Kazakh people see the mountains as sacred, a place to reconnect with the earth and with one's own spirit. Travelers who venture into the Tien Shan or the Altai Mountains in the northeast often find more than they expected. They come for the scenery, but leave with a sense of peace, humbled by the sheer scale of it all. In the presence of these towering giants, you cannot help but feel small, yet at the same time, deeply connected to something greater. Charyn Canyon, the Grand Canyon of Central Asia. From the cool heights of the mountains, our path leads us to one of Kazakhstan's most striking natural wonders, Charyn Canyon. Carved by the Charyn River over millions of years, this vast chasm stretches for over 150 kilometers, its walls painted in shades of red, orange, and ochre. In the midday sun, the canyon glows as if lit from within, its colors shifting and deepening with every passing hour. The most famous part of the canyon is the Valley of Castles, where towering rock formations resemble ancient fortresses, each with its own unique shape and story. Walking here feels like stepping into another world, a silent kingdom sculpted by wind and time. The air is dry and warm, carrying the faint scent of sagebrush, while the sound of the river far below is a constant, soothing murmur. Unlike many famous canyons in the world, Charyn remains wild and uncrowded. You can wander for hours without seeing another soul, your only companions the rustle of the wind and the occasional lizard darting across your path. It's a place where time seems to slow down, where the vastness of nature dwarfs every thought and worry you brought with you. Legends cling to these stones. Some say that spirits dwell in the canyon, guarding it from those who would disrespect its beauty. Others tell of nomadic warriors who once camped along the river, their fires flickering in the shadows of the towering walls. Whether you believe the stories or not, there is no denying the canyon's powerful presence. As the day draws to a close, Charyn Canyon becomes even more magical. The setting sun paints the rocks in deep crimson and gold, while the sky above shifts from pale blue to a sea of stars. Standing here, surrounded by silence and beauty, you begin to understand why places like this must be treasured, for they are not just part of a country's land, but part of its soul. Altyn-Emel sand dunes, the singing sands of Kazakhstan. From the deep red rocks of Charyn Canyon, we move into a very different world, a place where the land rolls into soft golden waves and the wind carries a song. The Altyn-Emel National Park, in southeastern Kazakhstan, is home to one of nature's most curious wonders, the Singing Dunes. Standing over 150 meters high and stretching for several kilometers, these dunes seem like any other at first glance. Vast ridges of fine, pale sand, sculpted by the wind. But when you walk along their crest or slide down their slopes, the sand hums and rumbles, producing a sound that can range from a gentle whisper to a deep, resonant note, like the drone of an organ. And no one knows for sure why the dunes sing. Some say it's the friction of dry grains rubbing together. Others believe it's the shape of the dune amplifying the vibration. Local legends offer their own explanations, telling of ancient spirits whose voices still echo through the desert, or of a sleeping giant whose breath moves through the sand. Whatever the cause, The effect is mesmerizing, a reminder that even the most silent landscapes have their own music. Altyn-Emel is not just about the dunes. The park covers a vast area of mountains, steppe, and desert, home to wild gazelles, argali sheep, and rare kalan, wild asses that roam freely across the plains. In spring, the park bursts into color as wild tulips and poppies blanket the ground, turning the usually muted palette into a living painting. The backdrop to all this is the rugged Altyn and Caspian Mountains, whose strange shapes and layers of mineral-rich rock look like something from another planet. Visiting the Singing Dunes is an experience that lingers in your memory. You climb slowly, each step sinking into the soft sand, your breath mixing with the warm desert air. At the top, the view is endless, a sea of golden ripples stretching toward the horizon, with the Ely River glinting in the distance. And then as you descend, the dune begins to sing, a deep, vibrating note that seems to travel through your bones. In that moment, you feel connected not just to the land beneath your feet, but to the unseen forces that shaped it over countless centuries. Lakes of Kazakhstan, mirrors of the sky leaving the warm embrace of the dunes, we journey toward the tranquil waters that lie scattered like jewels across Kazakhstan's vast landscape. The lakes of this country are as varied as its terrain, from high-altitude alpine gems to immense inland seas, each with its own story and character. Perhaps the most famous is Lake Kandy, tucked away in the mountains east of Almaty. At first glance, it looks like something from a dream, a narrow, turquoise lake with dozens of tall, bare tree trunks rising from its surface. These ghostly spires are all that remain of a submerged forest, created over a century ago when an earthquake triggered a landslide, damming the valley and flooding it with icy mountain water. Today, the lake is a place of surreal beauty, where divers can still see the preserved branches of the sunken trees beneath the clear water. Then there is Big Almaty Lake, a shimmering blue reservoir cradled by peaks that change color with the seasons. In summer, the water glows a vivid turquoise, while in autumn it reflects the gold and crimson of the surrounding slopes. In winter, it freezes into a silent sheet of white, mirroring the pale sky above. It's not just a feast for the eyes. The lake also serves as a vital source of drinking water for the city of Almaty. Further afield, in the northern steppe, lies Lake Balkhash, one of the largest lakes in Asia and a true paradox of nature. The western half is fresh water, while the eastern half is salty, the two parts divided only by a narrow strait. This strange phenomenon has puzzled scientists for decades and adds to the lake's mystique. Each of these lakes offers more than scenery. They are places of life, for migratory birds, for fishermen, for travelers who come seeking peace. Standing by their shores, watching the ripples spread out under a gentle breeze, you can feel the stillness seep into your soul. The lakes of Kazakhstan are not just reflections of the sky, they are mirrors of the spirit, each holding a piece of the country's vast, untamed beauty. Caspian Sea and Altyn, Kazakhstan's window, to the west from the calm of the inland lakes, our path takes us west, where Kazakhstan's land meets the endless expanse of the Caspian Sea. This is no ordinary lake. It is the largest enclosed body of water on Earth, so vast that standing on its shore feels like standing at the edge of an ocean. Here lies the city of Altyn, a place unlike any other in the country. Perched on the shores of the Mangisto region, Altyn is a city shaped by the sea and the desert alike. Its streets are lined with white stone buildings, gleaming under the bright sun, while the coastline stretches in curves of golden sand and rocky cliffs. The water itself is a shifting canvas of blues, from pale aqua near the shore to deep sapphire further out. On calm days, the sea is glassy and still. On windy days, waves crash against the rocks, sending up sprays of saltwater mist. The Caspian is not just a natural wonder. It has been a crossroads of trade, culture, and history for centuries. From ancient Silk Road caravans to modern shipping routes, this inland sea has connected Kazakhstan to Persia, the Caucasus, and beyond. In Aktau, this mix of influences is reflected in the food, the music, and the people themselves. Fishermen bring in fresh sturgeon and Caspian herring, while cafes serve tea alongside dishes flavored with spices from faraway lands. Beyond the city, the Mangistau region reveals landscapes unlike anywhere else in Kazakhstan. Chalk-white cliffs rise from the desert, strange rock formations at the horizon, and hidden canyons cut through the arid earth. The combination of sea and desert creates a feeling of timelessness, as if this place has existed unchanged for thousands of years. Standing on the shore at sunset, watching the sun melt into the horizon, you can't help but feel the pull of the Caspian. It is a place of movement and stillness, of connection and solitude, a fitting final stop on our journey before we turn our eyes back to the heart of Kazakhstan. The soul of Kazakhstan, from the markets of Almaty to the silent peaks of the Tien Shan, from the fiery cliffs of Charyn Canyon to the singing sands of Altyn-Emel, from hidden mountain lakes to the wide-open Caspian. Kazakhstan is a country of endless contrasts, bound together by a spirit that is impossible to forget. It's a land that humbles you with its scale, enchants you with its beauty, and welcomes you with its heart. And when you leave, you'll carry a piece of its soul, in your memories, in your stories, and in the way it makes you see the world. Kazakhstan is not just a place you visit, it's a place that stays with you forever.